What is going on, everybody? Mike here from Unplayable. I just got back from a long family trip to Europe, and the Unplayable homies rudely left me out of the Ventress reveal when they covered it on our spoiler video. So go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But I had to throw in my take. So a lot of you may already know that Ventress is my favorite Star Wars character, so I am very excited to see not just one, but two versions of Ventress in set 3. And let's talk about the Ventress leader. And maybe we'll build a deck too. So let's talk about Ventress real quick. Okay, so let's take a look at the Ventress leader card here. So she is a yellow villain. She flips on 4 resources, which is obviously super early in the game. She has a very interesting and cool action. You exhaust her and you can attack with a unit. If you played an event this phase, it gets +1/+0 for this attack. So has the ability to trade up into units or do a little bit of extra damage to base. Very cool, but obviously requires you to have played an event. And when she flips, she is a 3/4 with the Force, Separatist, and Sith traits. And on attack, if you played an event this phase, this unit gets +1/+0 for this attack and deals combat damage before the defender. So built in, shoot first. She can just take things out left and right, which is super awesome. Obviously pairs really well with event cards that let you attack, like Surprise Strike, where she can hit something for 7 and not take damage back. So she can single-handedly kill Boba, the leader, not die back. Very cool. Obviously, you gotta survive until then, and she only has 4 health, only a 3 attack naturally, and so she is certainly a little bit squishy. But part of the fun of building this deck is gonna be figuring out how to mitigate that. So let's dive right into this. I'm actually going to pick a yellow base first and just look at the yellow cards that I might want to play, and then we can pick a real second color later. And I mean, who knows? Maybe it will just end up being yellow, but I got some other ideas. So let's see what cards we for sure want. These 0 cost cards are kind of interesting, right? Because, you know, her ability requires you to play a bunch of events, and not having to spend resources on playing those events seems kind of cool. Downside is that I don't know how good these actually are and if they're worth a deck slot. But I think what I'm going to do here is like put things at 1 copy if I'm unsure, maybe 3 copies if I know I want 3 in the deck, and kind of go from there, whittle down after we're done. So the 0 costs we've got are In Pursuit, exhaust a friendly unit. If you do exhaust an enemy unit, I don't totally love this card. I mean, I guess maybe if we're making a bunch of token units that we don't care about, could be cool. So I guess you can exhaust their leader too, which is kind of good. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking myself into this card. It's definitely interesting. And then look the other way, another exhaust card that, you know, either you exhaust a unit, can exhaust a leader unless its controller pays 2. If you play this, obviously, when they don't have any resources left, you get to just exhaust the unit for 0. And if they do have resources left, you force them to burn 2 of them, which could be good. So I'm down to consider those for sure. Like, an interesting thing about this deck and this leader is just how many events do you actually want in the deck, and how many can you afford to put in the deck? Do you build your whole deck around maximizing your event cards? Like, do you play Greedo and Bib Fortuna and Jabba, and what are the other ones you've got? The Bounty Hunter crew, stuff like that. If we do that, maybe McClunky's pretty good because, whoops, I clicked on it. Because, you know, obviously a lot of those units are Underworld traded, and so that could be good. So let's put that on the maybe pile, and let's look at some of these other ones. Shoot first is kind of cool. The reason why I like it is it's kind of doubling down on what you want to do in the deck. You know, if you use shoot first with Ventress, you're getting +2, so she's attacking for 5, and obviously the, you know, deals combat damage before the defender is a bit redundant with this card, but you can use it on your other cards too. And I expect that you would want to play shielded units in this deck because of her ability here to be able to attack for more damage with your shielded units and keep them alive. So I think this is worth considering. Breaking in, this one we definitely want. I think we want 3 of them. So attack with a unit gets +2/+0 and gains Saboteur for this attack. Obviously paired with Ventress, she would deal 6 damage to a unit, not take damage back, and can go through Sentinels, which is pretty cool. You can also just, you know, burn your opponent for an extra 2 damage with an attack. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Droid deployment, I think this card is sick. And it's an event that allows you to develop units onto the board. which is pretty good because you want a bunch of events in your deck, and you obviously also want some units. And so this does double duty in this deck. So I think that's really cool. Got No Good to Me Dead. That's, I mean, you know, classic yellow villain, awesome card. So yeah, gotta consider it. Card draw. Draw 2 cards. If you control no token, you just put 2 on the bottom. That's kind of interesting. I don't know though. I don't know. Are we gonna be making enough token units? Probably not. I guess if we go into like green and like, I don't know, go super wide, maybe that's worth looking at. But all right, we'll pretend that we're interested for a second. We got Sneak Attack, play from your hand, it costs 3 less, enters play ready. That's kind of cool. You can enter play ready, and then you can use her ability to attack with it for +1. So that could lead to some interesting combos. Gotta think about that. Surprise Strike, auto include 3 of in this deck for sure. You know, lets her attack for 7, not take damage back, or just hit your opponent's base for 7. That's a lot of damage on, you know, turn 3. And let's see what else. I feel like you want your events to be cheap so that you can also play units. And I don't know. I don't know if this is like a deck where you want to like play a lot of control. I feel like most of the control, like most of the board control that you want to be doing with a deck like this is like on the board itself with your units. So yeah, maybe not that. Now there are 2 of them. This card's insane. This is probably my favorite card in the set, aside from the Ventresses, of course. And it's a trick. Like, works so well with Jabba too. I gotta think about putting that in here. It's such a cool card. Triple Dark Raid is interesting too. We can consider that. That's like another. Now there are 2 of them, almost like very similar vibe. I mean, they unfortunately don't really work that well together because this is only vehicles, and this wants you to play non-vehicles. So it's hard to play both in the same deck, I think. But maybe we'll lean one direction or another, or maybe we won't play either of them at the end. Waylay. Gotta think about Waylay. Cunning, obviously, if this ends up being double yellow, Cunning is a lock here. Okay, this one's interesting. On the doorstep, create 3 battle droid tokens and ready them. So on the turn that she flips, you get 3 battle droid tokens. You can attack with one of them for 2, so you get 4 damage there. And then you can flip Ventress and attack for 4. So you can deal 8 damage on her flip turn if they, you know, obviously do nothing, which is unlikely. But I do like this card. I think it's cool. And potentially has synergy with some other cards that we might want to play if we go into like green or something. If we play that, the guy that like buffs your droids or your tokens or whatever, this could be cool. Ooh, we could actually do something interesting. We could do, because that guy is called Kraken. Here, let me pull him up. So Kraken, he costs 5, and he's a 2/5 separatist droid. When played, create 2 battle droid tokens, and on attack, give each friendly token unit +1/+1 this phase. So what you could do is play a separatist or a droid unit turn 1, and then turn 2, play now there are 2 of them to bring in Kraken. He's at 2/5. He's got pretty good stats. And he brings in 2 battle droid tokens. And then when you go to your next turn, you go to your turn 3, the Ventress flip turn, you've got this guy, 2 battle droids from him, 3 more from on the doorstep. And each of those tokens are getting +1/+1 when this attacks. That sounds pretty sick. I kind of want to go in that direction. So we're going to just add this guy to the deck just to remember that is kind of what I want to do here. I feel like there's so many ways to build this leader, and I'm so excited about it. But that, at the moment, seems most exciting to me. So I think that's where we're going to go here. The rest are kind of meh, so I'm not even going to bother. So obviously, this is a ton of stuff. We're not going to end up with all of that in here. But let's see if there are other cards that are good with this sort of combo thing that we got going on. Maybe we do want some card draw, you know, finding the combo pieces if we are going a more combo centric direction. But what does that look like? And I don't know, Greedo is kind of cool too. Like the Greedo Bib, like that kind of stuff is pretty sweet too. And Bib also is really nice with, now there are 2 of them because you can now place like 6 cost Underworld card on turn 2. I don't know if there's any really good ones though. There's Bounty Hunter Crew, which is sweet because then you can keep looping the now there are 2 of them. That is sweet. That sounds so fun. Okay, maybe I can fit all that in. Probably not, but let's try. I do love Mahdi, but I don't know if he fits this concept. Okay, so what are some cheap separatists or droids? We gotta look out for those. We've got the what's called already the droid deployment, but we need to, murder one of our own battle droids in order to play. Now there are two of them, turn 2, which is possible, but relies maybe a little too much on what our opponent's doing. Another benefit of like droid deployment and on the doorstep is like, if we do go green, there's some pretty good exploit stuff that we can leverage. So that's cool. Apologize for the voice. I got sick while I was traveling, so this might be rough. Okay, well, we got to pretend that Bib's going in. I kind of like Bazine just to like clear the way for Ventress to flip. Just like scouting your opponent's hand real quick just to make sure that there's nothing you got to worry about. They don't have like an open fire in their hand or something like that. That's kind of interesting. So we'll pretend that that's going in. Crafty. I feel like this is like auto 3-of in a deck like this too. Because, you play this, then you play an event and attack something for a 3 with your shield. Seems good. Dr. Evazan is similar. And he can take out a lot of the like 3 cost 4 health stuff, which is nice. He's obviously pretty risky, but I think he's worth considering. Especially if we go a little bit more aggressive and we want to hit your opponent in the face. Like, I don't know, hitting your opponent for 4 on turn 2 with this guy and following it up with just more damage and more units, I guess, is cool. I guess, like, what does that actually look like? Maybe you play this for 0 and then, like, play a unit for 3. I don't know. What else? This card's pretty sick. Readying your card, your units, or exhausting your opponents is really good. Randy is a separatist, so you can cheat this guy out off of the back of this guy. I kind of feel like we're going one route or the other. We're either going separatist or underworld. Probably not both. So it's going to come down to where the better cards are. While you control another separatist unit, it gains raid 2. That's kind of cool. If we go the separatist droid route, that's kind of good. This is a droid that lets you grab this guy with this. And it lets you scout your opponent's hand. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if I love it, but it's kind of cool. This card's sweet. If we're going the token route, maybe it's good. If we're going heavy exploit, I think it's maybe worth it. We got Boba. I mean, just good, right? Yellow villain deck. Boba Fett fits pretty good most of the time. Slime More is so interesting. Like, take control of your, opponent's clone and then exploit it or run it into one of their units. It's so powerful. But she feels like a sideboard card. Or just like a meta card. Well, if we're going the underworld strat, we gotta have 4 LOM because you can cheat out the big Zuckuss on turn 2, and that is disgusting. So ambush something for 5 with 4 LOM on the Ventress flip turn. That's pretty nasty. What else we got? Ooh, Gamorrean guards. You can play this on the Ventress flip turn to protect her when she flips. I like it. I like that a lot. Any other good ones here? Infiltrating Demolisher. What an interesting card. A 4-cost 4/5 exploit one with Saboteur. This card's super cool. I feel like this is a good card. I don't know exactly where it goes, but I feel like this is a good card. If they ever make a 0-cost unit, you could play the 0 on turn 1 and then exploit it to get this guy out on turn 1, which seems kind of disgusting. So that's worth thinking about. Jabba can help us get our tricks. So let's say we do go the Jabba route. We get this off the top, potentially. And it costs 1 less. So we're paying 2, reducing the cost of a card we're playing by 5. So on the following turn, you have 5 resources. And so you have 3 left plus 5. So you could play an 8-cost Underworld or Hut unit off of this. And are there any? Not in this color, but perhaps in others. I mean, you can play like Maul. That's pretty cool. You can like cheat out Cad Bane. Also pretty cool. Dang. I feel like there's so many cool ways to build this deck. Okay, we got Rush Clovis. This is a cool card too. 4-cost, basically 5/5. Bosk, cheating out Bosk on turn 2 is pretty cool. And you want to be playing events anyway. This could be another decent card to cheat out on turn 2. Pretty vanilla, but a 4/5 Sentinel on turn 2 is probably pretty difficult for your opponent to deal with. And then on the next turn, you're flipping Ventress and already have a 4/5 Sentinel out. So I think that's worth thinking about. That's also good. 0 is pretty cool on turn 2. I know I'm just like tunnel visioning on this card, but I just think it's so cool. This very well may not be the best way to build this deck, but I don't care. Doing it anyway. So let's think about it. Bounty Hunter Crew, we gotta think about that too if we're going this version. This card breaks my brain. I don't know what you can do with this deck. Probably something crazy. I don't know if we need to go like super high up in the curve. I think we're trying to just like tempo and get in like a bunch of cheeky damage. All right, well, we're gonna have to whittle this down by quite a bit. Do we go with the droid go wide version, or do we go with like the underworld thing? I feel like the underworld thing is really sick. It requires a lot of deck slots though, or at least it feels like it does. Maybe it doesn't actually, but it feels like you want just like a ton of different cards in your deck. I think we can cut that because I'm tunnel visioned on this. What's the best thing that we can do with the sneak attack? I guess like maybe Zuckuss costs 3 less, so we pay 2 plus 2 and play it on the Ventress flip turn. Attack for 7. Ventress attacks for 4. It's a lot of damage, but then it goes away, so it's not that exciting. Huh. All right, I'm gonna cut sneak attack for now. Like all that stuff. McClunky's pretty good if we do like the underworld thing. I haven't even looked at the space units yet, so I guess let's do that real quick. What do we like? I guess Cartel Spacer if we're doing the underworld thing. We got Gunship too. This card's cool, but I don't know if it really fits what we're doing here. 7 Fleet Defender is nice with the shield. I think we can be pretty simple with the vehicles here. Yeah, I guess we're just not gonna have a lot of space units, but you know, we'll just have to call that okay. We're trying to go all in on this, this event anyway that I'll never draw. Do we want any of this stuff? Probably not. Jetpack is kind of interesting because it can protect Ventress, but it is pretty slow. Like you got to flip her first and then cross your fingers before you like actually can play this. So I don't love it. I mean, this card's just good, but I'd rather do similar things with an event because it synergizes better. This doesn't make sense, I don't think, for this deck. So I think that's all the yellow cards that we're interested in. That's a lot. Okay. I guess I got to pick a direction here. Do I want to go underworld? And what other events synergize super well with Ventress? Resupply could be kind of interesting because you can bring her out turn 2 and probably kill whatever they played that turn, unless it's like an X5. 5 health stuff is pretty popular on that turn, so maybe that doesn't actually work. So, okay, are we going green? What can we find in green that's interesting? Okay, what are the events first off? Timely Intervention's good. I guess like the resupply is cool. Barrage, obviously. I'm not really like stoked on any of the other events, unfortunately. So maybe green isn't it for what we're trying to do here. I do like this though. I mean, we've got plenty of events. Like maybe it doesn't matter. If we went in this direction, what could we find that is separatist or what is it, droid? Yeah, that we could curve into. We've got Poggle. That's cool. You could play the thing and get an extra battle droid token. That's kind of sick. Any others? I guess the others are space units. We've got this one, which is pretty good, especially if we have some exploit stuff that we want to do. But that's kind of it. So we're relying on like 6 cards /7 with like droid deployment to make this work. It sounds fun, but I don't know if this is the right deck for it. Maybe this is better with like Dooku because you can give this exploit with Dooku anyway on turn 1 or on turn 2 and exploit like a droid from this or from, one of these other things. Okay, so no Kraken. We're going Underworld. And I think that means that I don't want green. Can I search by trait yet? I don't think so. Hopefully that gets implemented soon because that would be very cool. I guess we've got like Maul is a big Underworld unit, so that would work with like Jabba. Do we have any other big ones? We got Jabba's Rancor, but it's pretty sweet. What turn would that be? It'd be like turn 4. You'd get Jabba's Rancor. That's pretty sick. That's fun. But is that what I want to do? Let's take a look at some other colors. Let's look at blue. Because you can do Pow City, and then she, is a 3/5, which is cooler than a 3/4. A little bit harder to remove. Dodges open fire. Still gets taken down, but sometimes you gotta just be okay with it. Okay, any good 5-cost Underworld blue cards? Probably not, right? Almost certainly not. But Kiadimundi being neutral is so weird. Yeah, none of this makes a ton of sense. I don't think it's blue. I think blue is like a totally different build. Like if you're building blue Ventress, I feel like it's like pretty control-y. So let's just quickly move away from that. What are the red cards that are cool? I mean, red, you get stuff like Force Throw, Force Lightning. That's pretty nice. So for events, like there are a lot of really good cheap events in red. Daring Raid, stuff like that. There's some attack cards like Precision Fire, Grim Resolve. This card's so cool. This card's really cool. I feel like there's some way to, make this card ridiculous. There's some more damage options. Pillage, we could just go like full discard. We could play this entire deck around trying to play like Bib and then have him survive long enough where you can flip Ventress and play Pillage and Force Throw on the same turn. And that sounds kind of sick. Is that something that we want to do here? That's the question. Just like delete your opponent's hand. That seems pretty good. Sounds very fun for me, not my opponent. All right, I'm gonna tentatively do that because it just seems really fun. All right, what are the Underworld units here? Anything good? We got this guy, but we're not playing bounties. Meh. Just like a big meh. I don't really care. Darth Maul's sick, but I don't think that there's like a cheap Force or Sith unit that we can rely on to get him out turn 2. So that's sad. Is there one that we didn't pick up that we could have? Probably not. I mean, if we wait until the Ventress flip, we could do like, now there are 2 of them plus Kylo or Kit Fisto randomly get a giant unit out. I mean, that's kind of sick. If we do that, I feel like we're not doing the Underworld thing though. I kind of want to do the Underworld thing. I mean, there's enough good like 5-cost Underworld cards in Syndicate Lackeys, Zero, Zuckuss, Bosk. Like, we don't need more of those. What does Kit Fisto do? He's just big. Coordinate's never happening with this deck probably. Doesn't go wide enough, I don't think. But we do have a lot of shielded guys. Maybe it works. I don't know. Let's try swapping this. Okay, one day I'll build a Kylo version of this and it'll be weird and cool. Okay, I think we're good. Is Dooku a card that's ever worth it? Probably not in this version. Any cheap cards that I want? Fifth Brother, meh. I mean, other Ventress? I don't think so. She's cool. Like, I like her a lot, but I don't think she fits this deck. Got the 3-cost 5/2. That's super aggressive. That guy's interesting. I guess not. I guess I don't really want like that many non-yellow ground units. Yellow cards are just so good. Why do people play other colors? Okay, so am I literally playing red just for like 3 cards? Or do I put like Cunning in here? I feel like I'm round tripping myself all the way back to double yellow. This is just a double yellow deck. One day I'll build the Force Throw version of this and it'll be sweet. But for now, it's double yellow. I'm not playing Patronaki Arena because I don't think it's worth it. She's just so vulnerable. Like, it's so easy for her to just flip and die, and you get like no value out of your 4 health, the 4 damage that you took at the beginning of the game. So let's just go level 13 to foreshadow her bounty hunter phase and go back to the double yellow cards. Pretend that we want to maybe include that. Bodhi is a great card. Cunning, obviously, that's a 3 of. And Cantina Bouncer, another. Oh, what? Why is it Fringe? Why is this not Underworld? Come on. If this was Underworld, it'd be so sick. Are there 2-cost Fringe cards? Let's find out. Do I want Final Showdown? I feel like I want 1 just because I love the card. And you can catch people off guard. You know, you gotta have a bib out there already. You play this on your 5-resource turn and deal a bunch of damage. Theory. Sounds cool. Okay, so let's refine this monstrosity real quick. So we got our 3 ofs. We've got. Are there any other cards in here that we like for sure want 3 copies? Don't think we want this one. I don't even know if we want droid deployment in here anymore. I feel like we don't. Like, there's no exploit in this deck. I don't have a good way to make use of the 2 battle droids, aside from the fact that, like, I don't know, can play units and use her ability, but not feeling it. I think on the doorstep is still interesting just because it's like immediate damage. It could be just a bad meta card because people are just packing a bunch of like AoE, and then it might be not great. But yeah, I'm not gonna move it up to 3 copies yet, but still keeping it in the mix. Let's look at some other cards. I want all the shielded dudes because I just feel like that's going to be good with her ability. I want Greedo because we're going to play a lot of events. I guess like got to play some amount of space units. So we're going Cartel Spacer. Can exhaust stuff on the Ventress flip turn if you play this, if you save the Spacer till then. I don't know. Maybe we'll go 9 space units and some amount of ground units. We got 61 cards. That's obviously too many. All right, we're cutting this. Keeping that. Waylay's just good. I don't know. We'll go a couple of these. I don't think a new adventure really like feels great in this deck, does it? Our units don't come in ready though, so like can't really like replay something and then use her leader side ability. Can do what? Like refresh a shield, grab another card out of your opponent's hand, search your deck for more tricks. Are there a lot of tricks in here? What do we got? Waylay's the trick. This is a trick. Are there more tricks that we need? I guess McClunky and Shoot First are tricks, so maybe I want those. Man, this is a trick too. All right, fine. I'll play it. I don't think we're grabbing this one. And maybe... Okay, 26 events is quite a few. I'd rather be closer to 20. Maybe I cut some of the expensive stuff. I'm not cutting a cunning. That's just silly. All right. Final Showdown, you're a sideboard card. I'm not willing to cut it from the deck entirely. It's too cool, but I don't think it belongs in the main deck here. Maybe No Good to Me Dead is just not what this deck wants to be doing. So let's reluctantly cut that. We got our extra damage stuff. Maybe just go like 2 Shoot First. Because we got 2 Shoot First, 3 Breaking In, 3 Surprise Strike. It's a good amount of like attack with your events. But look the other way, I think is an interesting inclusion here. Kind of spicy. All right, so we're cutting down the ground units here. I guess like 22 events is pretty good for like Greedo odds. I'm keeping Bazine in here. Bazine. Okay, well, I'm not playing Lux or the Separatist Commando because we're moving away from that whole thing. 3 cost cards. I feel like I'd rather do Bodhi than Boba Fett because I really don't want to play a 3 cost unit on turn 2. I want to ideally play a 5 cost unit on turn 2, which is not very likely, but like we've got this as a 3 cost unit because we've got a lot of 5 costs here. I guess like which ones of those are we playing? Not this one. We've got Zuckuss, that's a for sure. Forloam's a for sure. I feel like Jabba we've already built around like the tricks and stuff. We're gonna be so over on cards here. Bounty Hunter Crew. I don't know. That maybe is also like a sideboard thing. Maybe. I don't know. 0. Do we want that? It's so cool on turn 2, but is it good enough after that? Probably not. Lackeys. I don't know. We'll do 2 Lackeys, 2 Bosk. Why not? Maybe Bosk is just better because you want to play it so early and it kills whatever you want. And then you have so many events that like you can just deal damage every turn with it. We're at 67 cards. Oh, goodness. Okay. No Bazine. If we're playing Bib, what are we cutting? Maybe I don't play Bib. What do I get out of Bib? Like free Shoot First, free McClunky. It's kind of cool. This for 2, but it doesn't really do anything because I don't have anything over 5. Cunning, turn 2. That seems bad. Yeah, just the stat line. I don't know if it's worth including in here. So we're getting rid of it. Getting rid of Boba Fett, I'm pretty sure. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards that we can play on the second turn. I mean, there might be times where we want to play like some of these events on turn 2 as well. Feels weird, but I mean, I guess we have Shoot First too. It's so good with Boba. Okay, maybe no Lackeys. Gotta make cuts somewhere. We got 9 5 cost cards. That seems like a good amount. We have too many 4 cost cards, I think, but they all serve a purpose. The Gamorrean guards protect Ventress. Maybe that doesn't matter as much in this concept. She kind of is just there to like keep the tempo train rolling. So maybe we're fine without that. I don't know. I might regret that. But can't play this yet, so I won't know for a couple weeks. We still have 28 ground units. That's ridiculous. All right. Well, I mean, this is obviously where we're cutting.
7 hours later.
So thanks for hanging out with me, watching me build this deck. Let's save this and look at it all nice on the screen here. In the good old deck image, if it'll load. There we go. All right. So we got best leader. Try it. I'm definitely going to try this. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to play. Right up my alley in terms of tempo and combo stuff with now there are 2 of them. Can't wait to try this. Can't wait to try Ventress. And I'm going to be building and sharing a ton of Ventress decks as I play a bunch of different versions. So join our Discord server and I'll be posting them in there along with a bunch of other cool set 3 decks as we get to experiment more with the set now that we know all the cards. And man, I'm just so excited for the set coming out. It is awesome to see all this Clone Wars era stuff in the game. Probably my favorite era of Star Wars at this point. So super cool to see. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll catch you guys on the next video.